10 days, automobile aficionados and aficionadas braved the COVID pandemic, many lured by claims that the focus would be on electric vehicles. Buyers expecting to view the latest green tech offerings and to compare their all-important ranges lined up for test drives around the Los Angeles Convention Center. But many of the electro-curious got, well, a shock when they saw the disappointingly incomplete electric lineup at the show. General Motors CEO Mary Barra keeps saying that GM is reorienting from gasoline to electric power, yet the Chevrolet exhibit did not have a single example of the 259-mile Chevy Bolt EV or the larger Bolt EUV to tempt the lower-end amps and ohms fans. I could not locate the Audi e-tron. The new BMW i4, successor to the boxy low-range i3, was nowhere to be found. And where was Volvo's $55,000 XC40 Recharge, or the Volvo-made Polestar 2? Even high-flying Tesla just phoned it in, grudgingly displaying a big Model S and a Model Y, but not the Model 3, wildly popular in California. And the doors on the token Teslas were locked. Porsche had a room of its own, and if you were into racing cars or sleek Taycans at $105,000 or so, you could drool over exciting advances at the high end. Showgoers could feel the same envious emotions over at Jaguar. The I-Pace was the show's best-looking SUV at around $80,000, range up to 292 miles. For the mass market, Ford led U.S. manufacturers in e-enthusiasm.
Both the E-Transit and the legendary F-150 will be available in all electric models, so there's electric for every need.
Dearborn was pushing the Mustang Mach-E SUV, a stylish favorite of the motor magazines, at around $44,000 to start and a 300-mile range. Fans of the traditional sporty Mustang coupes and convertibles may grumble about the equine name migrating to a heavy family four-door, but it is smart marketing by Ford. Japan provided strong competition with the brand new Subaru Solterra, essentially identical with Toyota's BZ4X, which sounds like a random password. At $40,000 to $50,000, range is at the low end, 220 miles, but these SUV siblings may sell well, assuming that drivers can remember BZ4X.
Oh no gas at all.
Nissan teased e-lovers with the 300-mile Ariya, promised for fall 2022 at up to $55,000. The homely Nissan Leaf, though improved, remains an underachiever at 150 to 226 miles. The South Koreans were most active at the show. Hyundai, actually pronounced Hyundai in Korean, made its well-regarded Kona EV available for browsing while giving greater prominence to its Ioniq line. An Ioniq 7 was on the pedestal as a sexy concept car, but Hyundai's bet is on the compact Ioniq 5, coming in 2022. This Ioniq has some sophisticated touches, including door handles that might be too tricky for clumsy motorists like me. Clearly, Hyundai is hoping that Ioniq becomes iconic. Kia, not to be outdone by its parent company, Hyundai, flogged its Niro EV. I bought show tickets because I wanted to check out a Niro plug-in hybrid, but had to settle for fiddling with a gasoline Niro. My wife Irma will insist on an electric tailgate if we end up wanting a Niro. Kia seemed proudest of its forthcoming larger EV6 with a 328-mile range and in the $40,000 range. Rounding out the show were obscure brands with more hopes than current sales. There was something called the Mullen, which got an award at the show, and Irma's favorite, the pre-production ultramodern Indy 1. Don't expect to see East Indies or West Indies on U.S. streets until 2023 at least. And finally, in a niche of its own, the one-seat tricycle-wheeled, aptly named Solo, a city runabout for the intrepid, selling for $18,500 from a Canadian company importing its mini-cars from China. Top speed 80, range 100 miles. By that point, weary showgoers were ready to ride an even smaller SUV back to the parking garage. Summing it up, EV range is on the upswing, so are prices, and I got a tantalizing but frustrating glimpse at the avowed future of motor cars.